What's up, guys? Coach Gaglione here. This is another edition of our Gags Goals Updates, and here is a Father's Day workout. We've got myself and some of our crew, as well as some of the Black Flag Barbell crew. We got Aaron and Andrew. I think everyone, which is pretty cool. Everyone in this group, I believe, is outside of Chris and Jax. Jax is Andrew's son. Almost everyone in this group has squatted 800 pounds or more in competition, I believe. I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but that's pretty cool. So on this particular day, for me, I elected to kind of stay raw. And I also signed up for another side quest, which I'll kind of get into a little bit later. I'm not sure if I'm going to unveil that yet. I want it to be a little bit of a surprise, but right now I'm just kind of working on building up my raw strength. One of the things I learned from my coach, Jesse Burdick, is that sometimes you got to throw yourself a softball, and one way you can ensure that you can get a PR is do something that you've never done before. So I've never really kind of trained a walked out raw squat in heels. So this is a little bit of a closer stance for me. Definitely the heels, I'm traditionally a little bit weaker. The most I've ever done in heels, I believe, is 585. I did do that for a few repetitions, but nonetheless, at that time, I was squatting about 705 pounds in just a belt. So anyways, I'm not sure I'm trying to necessarily get back to that level of strength. But if I was able to, say, as an example, get to a 600 pound squat in heels, that would be an all-time PR. And I don't think that's completely unreasonable, except for the fact that I'm dieting down. But anyways, you can kind of just see here the benefit of training with a crew. You got two side spotters, you got one person working the mono. And then you're not just kind of offering encouragement, offering some kind of coaching cues, making sure maybe the back's on point, the depth's on point. One thing that you will see here is that, Aaron and Andrew are both in squat briefs. In my opinion, I think that especially some of the lifters, you'll see, better depth than others. And even myself, I'm trying to figure out, I was having my wife call my depth. If you're kind of training with a crew and you're not kind of regularly kind of with them, sometimes in terms of the standard, depending on if you're wearing squat briefs and stuff like that, it's actually more important that you kind of hold positions versus just kind of force range of motion. So that's not necessarily something I was kind of focused on with them specifically, because I'm not sure how tight their gear was and stuff like that. But they were just doing some technical work on this day. I do think, though, if you are doing lighter work and you're doing technical work, using a suit or a brief that allows you full range of motion, I think would make more sense. But that's just kind of my opinion. Again, like I said, ultimately, I was kind of more concerned with making sure that they were getting their picks right, having good bar path, back tightness, and they were, on every set, got better and better for the group. So I was able to work up to around 500 pounds on this particular day with around 80 pounds of chains, and I believe that Andrew and Aaron worked up to around 540 pounds. So you can kind of see here that everyone kind of did pretty well with their squats. And then we elected to do some deadlifts. So right now I'm kind of having a max effort day and a dynamic effort day, and I'm electing to do kind of two max effort movements. And I might right now I'm going to be probably alternating one day a little bit more of a squat focus, one day a little bit more of a deadlift focus. On this particular day, this was my first kind of time actually really squatting in heels. And the other thing I'm going to be kind of working on is my conventional deadlift. My all-time conventional PR deadlift in a meet is 625. Again, I'm not sure if I'll be able to surpass that in time. And then my best conventional deadlift in training is 650 pounds. But I would like to kind of, get my conventional as strong as possible, get my raw squat as strong as possible. In addition to that, I have a couple other kind of things on the docket. Oddly enough, a shrimp eating contest. More on that another time, and maybe I'll kind of, if you guys are interested, but it's still kind of in vein of keeping the fats low. That's just kind of the tune of my diet, and I'm going to kind of give you guys some more insight on the sugar diet, the high carb, low fat, moderate protein diet. But so far, it's been pretty good. I had an all-time low weigh-in this week of 268.5 pounds, so still got a lot of work to do. So you can see on this particular day, we're doing a partial range of motion deadlift. Block pulls are really actually good at, believe it or not, developing your start because you're not in a stretch position. It's kind of, you're in this kind of dead zone. And the hardest part of the block pull is going to be getting it moving. So I was able to get north of 550 pounds on this particular day. And one of the things that that you'll kind of see, like when you're training in a group, everyone's kind of helping, spotting each other, load the plates, those sorts of things, and it can make for more efficiency. So in this particular day, training on the deadlift was my focus. You can see I probably had a little bit more left in the tank on the squat. The deadlift was pretty challenging. And I just wanted, sometimes on the max effort day, it's not always advised to try to beat everyone in the group, but on this particular day, that was kind of like a secondary goal. My first goal was to strain, and then my second goal was to beat everyone in the group. So a little friendly competition can be good. Ultimately, I still wanted to kind of stay within my capacity. So Aaron had like a little bit of like a bobble there. So in terms of like, sometimes like the healthy competition between lifters can be good because again, everyone in this particular group was kind of at a similar strength level. So I think that was kind of helpful for giving me that little extra push in this day. You can kind of start to see that my position's starting to kind of falter a little bit, and I'm starting to kind of grind, especially on that first rep, really kind of hard to get it moving. So I like to just do some doubles on this particular day. I'm still kind of working on my strict curl, so I'm gonna have to go barehanded at some point. But for right now, I'm kind of just training my grip separate from my deadlift, just to kind of make sure that my bicep and forearm is in a good, is nice and healthy. So I think this is about 565 pounds, which is my top set. Again, nothing earth-shattering, but I'm kind of working my way back up to that 600-pound range. And yeah, this was a great Father's Day workout, so that's what it's like training with the crew at Gagland Strength in Milton. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, stay strong, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.